What if I told you that one of the most resilient, nutrient-dense foods on this planet was systematically erased from your diet, not because it was unhealthy, but because it was too difficult for a machine to understand? Look closely at this. It looks like a string of ivory pearls, or perhaps a curious creature from a forgotten sea. This is the Crosne. To the modern industrial farmer, it is a nightmare, an inefficient, stubborn root that refuses to be tamed by giant harvesters or chemical monocultures. But to our ancestors, this was the nutty crunch that sustained them through the harshest winters. While the world obsesses over the artichoke, a plant guarded by thorns and heavy scales that you must labor to peel away, the Crosne offers everything you desire with none of the resistance. No peeling, no thorns, just a pure, buttery snap that tastes like a cross between a water chestnut and a young hazelnut. So why has it been missing from your plate for 50 years? Why did the titans of agriculture decide that you should never taste this ancient medicine again? They want you to depend on what can be processed in a factory. They want you to forget the sovereignty that grows just beneath the frost. Today, we dig deeper than the soil. We dig into the truth. Welcome to Ancestral Soil. The archive opens in the mist-shrouded mountains of 13th century China. Long before the first laboratory synthesized a vitamin, the people of the East recognized the Stachys affinis as a gift of longevity. In the high-altitude gardens of the Ming Dynasty, it was revered not just as food, but as a biological vessel of resilience. They called it the earth silk, a root that could survive where others withered. From China, it traveled to Japan, where it earned the name chorogi. To the Japanese, it became a sacred symbol of the new year, a representation of a long life, often dyed a brilliant red with shiso leaves to mirror the rising sun. It was the food of the elders, the secret of the centenarians. But its journey didn't end in the East. In 1882, a single shipment of these ivory tubers arrived in a small, quiet town in France called Crosne. Within a decade, this humble root conquered the most elite kitchens in Paris. It was the darling of the Belle Époque. Imagine the grand dining halls of the late 19th century, where the finest chefs served Crone du Japon alongside truffles and champagne. It was the height of culinary sophistication, a vegetable that commanded the respect of royalty and the curiosity of the world's greatest botanists. For centuries, it was the bridge between the wild earth and the refined table. It was a plant that knew its worth, flourishing in the family gardens of those who understood that the best things in life cannot be manufactured, they must be nurtured. But the golden age of the crows was destined to meet a cold, calculated end. As the mid-20th century arrived, the world's food system underwent a violent transformation. This was the birth of the Green Revolution, a name that sounded like progress but functioned like a purge. Agriculture was no longer about nutrition or heritage. It became a game of logistics and brutal efficiency. The new gods of the field were the giant harvesters and the massive conveyor-belt processing plants. And here lies the sin of the crows, its refusal to conform. Because of its unique, twisted shape, those beautiful pearl-like segments, the industrial machines simply couldn't handle it. A potato is uniform, a carrot is predictable, but the crows? It is delicate, it is intricate, it clings to the soil like a buried secret. To a billion-dollar agricultural corporation, the crows was a clog in the gears. It required a human hand to harvest, a human eye to appreciate, and in the eyes of the corporate titans, the human element was too expensive. By the 1970s, the order was given. The crows was systematically removed from the seed catalogs. It was labeled invasive or low yield in academic journals funded by chemical companies. They replaced this resilient, self-propagating perennial with annual crops that required a constant cocktail of synthetic fertilizers and patented pesticides. They didn't just stop growing it, they erased the memory of it. They wanted a world where food came in plastic bags, uniform and tasteless, disconnected from the earth and the seasons. The disappearance of the crows wasn't an accident. It was a calculated eviction of a plant that provided too much independence and required too little profit for the middleman. For decades, the Crosne lived in exile, surviving only in the hidden corners of heirloom gardens and the stubborn memory of a few traditionalists. But today, the silence is being broken by the very labs that once overlooked it. Modern science is rediscovering what the Ming Dynasty knew 800 years ago. This isn't just a nutty crunch, it is a chemical powerhouse. The secret lies in a rare carbohydrate called Stachys. Unlike the heavy starches found in the industrial potato, Stachys is a sophisticated prebiotic. It doesn't cause the violent blood sugar spikes that plague millions of Americans today. Instead, it bypasses the upper digestive tract to feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut, the foundation of your entire immune system. But the most staggering revelation comes from the field of neurology. Recent studies, including groundbreaking research from 2004, have identified compounds within the Stachys affinis that act as guardians for the brain. These extracts have shown the ability to inhibit the enzymes responsible for cognitive decline. In an age where memory loss is treated as an inevitability of aging, the Crosne stands as a defiant biological shield, offering a natural path to mental clarity that no synthetic pill can replicate. Furthermore, science has confirmed the plant's incredible resilience. It possesses a natural antimicrobial and antioxidant profile that allows it to thrive in frozen soils where other vegetables would rot. It is a master of survival, a plant that builds its own defense systems from the minerals in the earth. The data is clear. The ancestors weren't just superstitious, they were precise. They chose the Crosne because it was the ultimate fuel for the human machine. The titans of industry bet on your forgetfulness. They gambled that if they kept the Crosne off the shelves long enough, you would stop looking for it. They were wrong. Reclaiming this ancient pearl is not just a culinary choice, it is an act of quiet rebellion. It is a declaration that you are no longer a passive consumer in a broken system, but a steward of your own survival. And the best part? The Crosne is ready to fight alongside you. Unlike the fragile, pampered crops of modern agriculture, this plant does not ask for your permission to thrive. You plant it once, just a few of these ivory tubers tucked 5 inches deep into the soil, and you have secured a permanent alliance. It laughs at the frost. It ignores the pests that devastate a typical garden. While the rest of the world waits for the spring seed catalogs to arrive, you will be in your garden in the dead of winter, uncovering treasures that have been sweetened by the ice. When you harvest, there is no labor of peeling, no waste, and no thorns. You simply rinse away the ancestral soil and witness the brilliant white sheen of a root that is ready to serve you. Sauté them in butter until they turn golden, or toss them raw into a salad for that signature nutty crunch that has been missing from the human palate for far too long. Every bite is a connection to the 13th century monks, the French aristocrats, and the resilient elders who knew that true wealth is grown, not bought. The path to sovereignty doesn't require a revolution in the streets, it starts with a revolution in the soil. Find these tubers, plant them, share them with your neighbors, because when we bring back the plants they tried to erase, we bring back the independence they tried to steal. The archive is open, the soil is waiting, the choice is yours. Knowledge is not lost, it is waiting for you. I am ancestral soil.